Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something pretty crucial for content creators moving beyond just, basic keywords.
Right. We're talking about semantic optimization. It's all about using phrases, not just single words.
Exactly. Think less about just stuffing in keywords and more about crafting meaning, finding the right phrases, like not just cloud, but cloud for small businesses.
Content marketing versus content marketing with a focus on lead generation. See the difference.
Yeah, much more specific. Or even retrofitting a heat pump in an old building instead of just heat pump. It adds that crucial context, that intent.
Precisely. It tells you what the content is really about, the specific angle.
So that's our mission for this deep dive. Understanding why these phrases are so much more powerful than isolated keywords.
And crucially, how we can all start using this approach, semantic optimization, without sounding like robots.
Right, keeping it natural. We'll look at how search engines pick up on these patterns, the context, the way phrases get repeated naturally.
It's really about showing you understand the topic deeply, not just hitting keywords.
Okay, so let's dig into that core difference first.
Yeah.
Keywords versus phrases. What's the fundamental distinction?
Well, a keyword basically just names a topic, right? Like CRM or sustainability, heat pump.
Okay, labels.
Exactly, labels. They tell you what, but not how or from what perspective. They lack direction on their own.
Whereas a phrase like CRM system for small businesses,
Okay.
that immediately gives you a target audience.
Or sustainable packaging for e-commerce, it pins down the application.
And retrofitting a heat pump in an old building
Yeah.
that points to a specific problem and solution context.
That's the key. The phrase adds that layer of perspective, of intent. It signals who the content is for and what specific aspect it's tackling. Much more informative.
So how do these phrases actually work within the text? How do they create meaning for, say, a search engine?
Well, they act like little building blocks of meaning that connect terms together. And search engines now are surprisingly good at analyzing how word groups appear together.
Co-occurrence, right?
Exactly, co-occurrence. They learn which phrases are typical for a subject, which ones, people knowledgeable in that field tend to use.
So they learn what sounds right for a topic.
In a sense, yes. They figure out which phrases signal relevance and authority.
Okay, so for content creators listening, the takeaway is shift your thinking.
Definitely. It's less about where do I put this keyword and more about how do I explore this topic using the kind of language people familiar with it would use.
Demonstrating understanding through the phrasing itself.
Precisely. Which leads us nicely into language patterns.
Right, because understanding how people actually talk about a subject seems critical here.
Absolutely. Language isn't random. It works through repetition, through established patterns. Certain ways of saying things just keep showing up in similar contexts.
Familiar turns of phrase.
Yeah, typical formulations. Think of them like well-worn paths in the conversation around a topic.
So semantic optimization. It's partly about identifying these pathways, these key phrases that carry the topic.
Exactly. It's about spotting which phrases do the heavy lifting linguistically and how they repeat naturally in good content.
Naturally being the key word there, not forced repetition.
No, not at all. It's about reflecting a thorough exploration. Think about, say, email automation. People aren't just searching email.
No, they're searching for things like send automated emails, maybe follow-up emails after purchase.
Right, or automated welcome email for new customers. Those phrases come directly from a real need, a specific intention, much richer than just email.
And search engines are picking up on these patterns. How?
They look at frequency, yes, but also position in the text and how phrases combine with other related terms. They're learning which word groups often stick together in quality content.
So when we use these natural language patterns,
We're sending strong signals to search engines about relevance, but just as importantly, we're making the content feel more, familiar and easier to grasp for the reader.
because it mirrors how they might already think or talk about it.
Exactly. It resonates. It feels like you're speaking their language because you are using the language patterns common to that topic.
Okay, this is making a lot of sense. We
Yeah.
know why phrases matter now. But the practical side, how do we actually find these relevant phrases?
Right, the how-to. It's not about just grabbing a list from a tool, is it? We want authenticity.
Definitely. We don't want to just sound like everyone else.
Exactly. So the key is really observation, careful observation of what's already working well in your niche.
Looking beyond just the keywords in top-ranking stuff.
Way beyond. You need to look at let's say, the linguistic architecture. How do they start paragraphs? What phrases pop up again and again to introduce core ideas?
How are the main terms woven in naturally?
Yes. Take that energy efficiency example again. Good content won't just pepper energy efficiency everywhere.
Right, it'll use phrases like, what? Increase energy efficiency with smart controls.
Or funding programs for more energy efficiency in old buildings. Or maybe energy efficient heating through heat pumps.
Ah, I see. These phrases connect the main term to specific actions, contexts, solutions.
That's it. They have thematic density, they link the technical term with its application, and a clear perspective. That's the kind of power you're looking for.
Okay, practical observation.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned tools earlier. Surfer, Phrase, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude. How do they fit in? Can they help us find these patterns?
They absolutely can be helpful. Think of them as aids, as semantic magnifying glasses. They can quickly identify common phrases in top texts and show you how they're distributed.
But with a caveat, I imagine.
A big one. Use them intelligently. Don't just take the output as a checklist of things to cram in.
So what should we focus on when using these tools?
Focus on understanding which phrases tend to appear together. How do they structure the topic in successful content? How can you adapt those patterns to your own unique style and viewpoint?
It's about analysis and inspiration, not just copying.
Exactly. Adapt. Don't just adopt.
And what about using language models like ChatGPT more directly for this? You mentioned pattern recognition.
Yes, this is where they can be really insightful. You can give them a piece of content, maybe something that ranks well, and ask it specific questions.
Like what? Could you give an example prompt?
Sure. You could paste in an article and ask, read this text and name 5 phrases that are thematically strongly connected to the term content strategy.
Okay, interesting.
Or based on this text, what are common ways the idea of customer retention is phrased? It turns the AI into a kind of semantic mirror.
Reflecting the language of the topic back at you.
Precisely. It helps you see the patterns, the connections, maybe even phrases you hadn't considered but are actually quite typical for that subject.
So the goal is shifting from just spotting words to understanding how meaning is built and repeated through these phrase structures.
That's the core idea. It really changes how you approach writing online.
It sounds like a pretty fundamental shift, moving away from keyword-first thinking.
It is. When you grasp these typical phrases, your whole writing process changes. You stop thinking about just slotting keywords in.
And start thinking
About linguistically unfolding the topic, using the language that shows you actually know the subject inside out. It's about sounding like an expert, naturally.
how does that actually change the writing itself? Any specific examples?
Well, for one, you tend to write more structurally. These typical phrases act like linguistic anchors. They hold paragraphs together, create a sense of reliability.
Can you give an example of that contrast?
Sure, instead of saying something vague like, it also works automatically, you might use a more anchored phrase. Automated processes in email marketing save time and avoid errors. See the difference.
Yeah, much more precise. It uses terminology common to that field. It anchors the idea.
Exactly. Second, you often end up writing more naturally.
How so? I might have thought focusing on phrases could make it less natural.
Not if you do it right. Because you understand the patterns, you have more freedom than just trying to hit an exact keyword density. You can discuss, say, on-page optimization concepts using related phrases like improving site structure or optimizing title tags without feeling forced to repeat on-page optimization over and over.
Ah, so the understanding of related phrases gives you more flexibility, less robotic.
Precisely. And third, you spot gaps earlier.
Gaps in your content.
Yeah. If you're writing about, say, e-commerce logistics and you realize you haven't naturally used phrases like 24-hour shipping or returns management or digitized warehouse operations.
It might signal that you haven't covered key aspects.
Exactly. The absence of expected phrasing acts like a little warning light. Have I really explored this thoroughly?
It's a different way of thinking about language, focusing on connection, not just occurrence.
It really is. Content starts with meaning, with understanding, and then flows into the typical formulations. Not the other way around. It builds a new routine. See language as structure, patterns, connections.
Okay, this is powerful stuff, but making it practical. How can we check our own work? Is there like a checklist approach we can use?
Absolutely. We can definitely put together a kind of checklist.
Yeah.
It helps translate that feel for the language into something more concrete. You can use it to evaluate, the semantic depth, the consistency, the completeness.
Great, let's go through it. What's point one?
First, check phrase occurrence. Are those topic typical recurring formulations actually there? Are they used naturally?
So if the topic is remote work,
You'd look for phrases like enable hybrid working, digital collaboration in the team, maybe develop a remote leadership culture. Are these central or just touched on?
Got it. What's next?
Second, make thematic clusters visible. Does the text connect similar phrases? Does it group related ideas together linguistically?
Example. Like for shop optimization.
Yeah. Do you see clusters like improve navigation, shorten click paths? Or reduce loading time technical optimization? Maybe increase conversion, use A/B tests. If those connections aren't clear, it can feel like just a list.
Right. Not a cohesive argument or explanation. Okay, point 3.
Third, variation instead of mere repetition. This is important. Are you using different ways to say similar things or just hammering the same keyword phrase?
So instead of saying install heat pump 5 times,
You might use modernize heating system with heat pump or retrofit a heat pump in existing building. Semantic optimization thrives on these networked variations, showing nuance.
shows a broader grasp. Makes sense. Fourth point.
Fourth, sentence structure supports meaning. Is the writing active, precise? Does it have a good rhythm, or does it feel like you're just listing terms?
Contrast that for us.
Compare just listing. SEO goals, relevant terms, conversion, that's flat, versus a clear content strategy connects SEO goals with relevant terms that ultimately lead to conversion. See how the structure creates flow and meaning.
Definitely. Language needs movement, not just stacking terms. And the last check.
Finally, point 5. Language creates orientation. Do your headings, subheadings, and even transition sentences use thematic markers? Do they guide the reader?
So a heading like, why typical phrases provide orientation.
Is much stronger than something generic like linguistic examples and content? Headlines should build context too, not just state a topic.
Okay, so this checklist really helps operationalize the idea. It's about creating clarity and depth through these interconnected phrases.
Exactly. It helps you build that recognizable, consistent, and trustworthy linguistic pattern. That's really the heart of what people call topical authority, showing you can cover a topic comprehensively and clearly through language.
So wrapping this up, the big takeaway seems to be that focusing on these semantic phrases isn't just a minor SEO tweak.
No, not at all. It's fundamental to creating content that actually gets understood, because the phrases show how concepts connect.
It's about demonstrating that understanding, not just stating facts or keywords.
Right. It marks a shift from sort of writing from the outside and starting with a keyword and trying to fit it to writing from the inside out.
Starting with the idea, the understanding, and letting the natural, typical phrasing emerge from that.
Exactly. And the benefit is content that's clearer, it's more readable, it's more credible.
So semantic optimization isn't just for search engines.
Not primarily, no. It's really a tool for better communication overall.
The goal, then, is writing texts that almost think like the topic itself.
That's a great way to put it. Texts that reflect the inherent structure and connections within the subject matter. That's where real impact comes from.
Connecting what belongs together linguistically. Well, that gives us a lot to think about. Here's a final thought for everyone listening. How could consciously using these typical phrases related to your field actually deepen your audience's understanding and maybe even build more trust in what you have to say?
Good question to ponder.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.